Here we go again then. Afternoon. It's quite late in the afternoon now. I've been waiting all day for a delivery. A delivery for these the fixings to put the new panels in, because I bought, this is one of the small panels, I bought the panels pre-cut and pre-drilled to replace these hardboard ones. I decided to go for them in the end, having sort of read various blogs and watched various videos, people suggesting that these, because they're much thinner, don't offer as much sound deadening or thermal properties, and in hot weather some of them tend to buckle a little bit. So replace them with the pre-cut hardboard, and I'm waiting today for the delivery because these are thinner. These panels are much thinner than these, and the fixings aren't deep enough, they don't hold, so I'm waiting for the new fixings to come so that I can put these in place. I'm not going to cover them yet because I'm awaiting the roof to be done, but I'm going to change all the panels. I'm also lifting up this cargo, which goes the full length of the van up to the back of those seats there, and I'm taking out the anchor points as well. There's 6 anchor points, which are these. I'll show you, they come out as basically a cup that fits in the hole there, and then bolted in there is an anchor point which you can then tie things onto to secure them in the back of the van to stop them moving around. So those will go on sale with the mat and the seat. 6 of those to come out, but I only want to do the back at the minute just to see what it's like, and it is lovely and clean under there. There was a lot of sand, a lot of very fine sand. It was beach sand, it's not sort of builder's sand or anything like that, but very fine sand. Yeah, so it's coming up to 4 o'clock and the delivery hasn't arrived for those things yet, so I'm sort of held off on that. So I'm going to take out the seat belts and leave these panels attached because I want to sell them, and then replace the panel here with the hardboard one as soon as the clips arrive. This is now later in the day, and you can probably see I haven't received the fasteners, so I haven't been able to put in the panels and change the existing ones to hardboard, but I have been able to line with the noise reduction and thermal and the fleece in there and in the opposite side. But if I pull back, you'll also see I've taken out the passenger seat, because what I've decided to do, whilst I've got a few moments, is to swap round and put the new swivel seat base in here, which is quite straightforward. This one's from go down here, from Rusty Lee, nice quality, nice manufacture, and you can see if I go round, there are basically 4 bolts that hold the seat on, 2 captive ones there, and then 2 captive nuts there and there. The holes in the new base are there ready for them, and then replace the seat using the 4 bolts on the plate, and then your seat will revolve. Excellent. So I'll show you once it's done. Right, good morning. Let's climb in there. Whoa! Nurse, the screens. Now, last night, or yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, I was putting the seat swivel in, that'll do, and I was waiting for the delivery so I could put the panels on. Delivery didn't arrive, that's another story. Anyway, back to the seat. I learned very quickly this morning when I came back to it, I just needed to lift, using the normal seat adjuster, lift the seat up a little bit, and now it revolves without catching anywhere on the bolts for the plate, the bottom plate, for the fixing of the swivel. What I do need to do though is find out, and I've contacted the company, which is Rusty Lee, because this panel, which goes down at the back of the base of the seat, this part here, this section, is fouling the bottom of the swivel plate. So I'm finding out have I done something wrong? Do I need to trim this down? Is there an alternative for this? So yeah, I've contacted Rusty Lee and they'll no doubt get back to me soon enough. It's not important, it's not structural, it's not going to stop me using the seat in any way. It's only a piece of decorative covering, which I can sort out later. So that's something to do. So today, again, I'm waiting on deliveries, waiting on a response for that, so there's not much I can do. Here, a couple of days later, it's been pouring with rain the last few days, and now it's dried up a little bit. So I've come back out to do more work, and I've trimmed off the top now on that plastic moulding that fits below the seat. See, the one that's over there had a top that reaches under the seat. Now that's the top's gone off, and it allows the revolve to move. So that's done. What I'm working on now is the removal of these seat brackets, and I've been under the van. You can see I'm up on ramps as the sun comes out. That's lovely. I'm using this old Honda Civic boot tray here as a mat to go underneath. It's ideal, that does the job perfectly. Anyway, I've got one of the brackets out and I'm replacing them, well, filling the holes effectively with these M10 nuts and bolts. Here we are, M10 nuts and bolts. And I've got the other 3 brackets to take out. So today my task is, let me see if I can get down and have a look. Can't quite see from here. What am I doing? Here we are. This plastic effort here is the fuel tank, and I need to lower it very slightly, only the end that's nearer into the van, because these 2 brackets are just hidden by the edge of the fuel tank. And if I can just lower it a little bit, I can get a spanner in there, maybe the spanner here or one with the universal joint on, and get those 2 brackets out. Look, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I can't see really what I'm doing. This is, well, by luck, raise my hand, and that's one of the bolts and the brace there. I can't really, so I can't get my head in the right place. Where are we? Start again. There. That brace going along there and bolting up into there is the front brace for the fuel tank. That's the middle one, and that's the end one. And if I come around here, back, can you just see in front, that one there, that is the rear passenger side bracket, the front bolt, and you can see the front bolt there. And those 2, I just need this lowered very slightly so I can get a spanner in there. The other 2 are very difficult to see. They're in there. So I can't see if I can even get a focus on that. No, it's much tighter here. So yes, I just need to lower the fuel tank so I can get to those bolts and take them out. And here we are underneath. This is the back bracket with the new bolts in. So it's the one nearest the door, passenger side door, and then there's the ones here, and I've got to put some nuts on. You can see I've let go of the brackets of the fuel tank. 3 bands, 3 brackets, one there at the back, one in the middle, and one at the front. And I've got I can't really get round to the angle, but I've got a jack supporting the front of the tank, I should say, and so it's only dropped by a couple of inches, just enough to get to the bolts. And there we are, 2 hours later, and it's just started to pour with rain, so I brought all the tools in. I'm going to get into the van because it is chucking it down out there, but they are all out. Hurrah! Done and tightened up, tank back in place, and all the bits put away. So next job tomorrow, let's get this flooring out. Oh, can you hear that rain? Chucking it down out there. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Right, well, you can see what I'm doing today. I'm trying out the wood flooring for size, which I'm going to trim. I've just taken the trim off here and going to clean it out. been vacuuming out the floor. I'm going to wash that later before I put the adhesive floor in place. And let's go around the back here and spin round, thank you. Yeah, and I've already started to, I don't know if you can see here, marking where I'm going to need to trim various bits and pieces off along the way before it fits nicely. Let's flip that back up. So yeah, that's the plan today, get all that sorted. Let's zoom out a bit. There you go. Yes, get it to cut to size, then the whole thing be cleaned, floor be washed. It's full of sand basically. You're seeing the nooks and crannies down here. Let's zoom right in. So it's full of sand basically. Obviously go to the beach a lot, and that's got to be cleaned out. Then brake cleaner perhaps just to give it a degrease, and then it's put the thermal flooring in, the sound deadening thermal flooring in. There we are, fading in as if by magic. Floor is in, not screwed down yet, but it's, as you saw, the insulation's gone in and that's all finished. You saw me put masking tape all the way around the edge of the van and put marks on them. That's where I've now transferred those marks as lines, joined them up on the boards, and where they intersect I put the marks, and that's where I'm going to be screwing into, because that's where the sort of raised part of the corrugation is, so I'll be able to screw into those when I finally fix it down. The reason I'm not fixing it down for the minute is I might want to change something. I know certainly might be thinking about putting some electrics across the front, and any changes like carpeting, I might want to tuck the carpeting underneath, so I'm just leaving it flexible. I don't need to screw it down at the minute, so I might as well just leave it and do when I really am ready to finish. So I'm at the point now where I've sort of finished the first bit of the preparation. That's done. I've got the curtains have arrived, so I'm going to put those on. Right, I'm inside now. It's drizzly at the moment outside, and I wanted to just cover the tailgate board. So let me just put this to one side. Oh no, you can probably see it anyways. The board that covers the rear panel, the tailgate panel, and I want to cover it with this carpet here, which is four-way stretch carpet, because I find that as I'm doing the window curtains, that in order to fit this, the bottom rail for the curtain needs to go at right angles, in fact, facing outwards across the back bottom rail of the window, and goes over a covering that covers the windscreen wiper motor. And in order to remove that, to take the board off, to cover it, put it on and put the cover back, I need to have the rail out of the way. I can't put the curtain track on and take the board, this board off and the cover off, etc. So I've got to basically finish this board first, cover it, carpet it, put it in place before I put the curtain track on, and that's what I'm doing now. So my plan now is, although I've had to come inside, I've opened all the doors, windows, etc., and there's only a small amount to spray and clean, spray and cover. So I'm going to do it indoors, get this covered, get it installed onto the back of the gate, and then I can put the the curtain track on it. So yeah, that's my plan. Well, there you are, that's the first panel done, and that's the colour that's going to be repeated all over. So it's called silver. Two things I've learnt. One is that when applying that, keep a stretch on it. If you just let it lie flat, whatever creases or wrinkles it's got from the roll or how you bought it are difficult to get rid of. So keep it under sort of tension, a stretch, and stretch it out as you spread it, and that will get rid of the once they're done. So yeah, on with the curtain track now, which comes in. Let me just put my tools to one side. This section, which you can see has got a bow in it, and that bow goes over that box there. So in this instance, the track is at right angles. Normally it would be like that, and the runner's going there through that way, but it's at right angles like that, so the runners are at right angles to the travel of the hang of the curtain. Then the top rail is a shaped rail that fits the top curve of the door, and both of them simply screw directly into the framework of the van, with a small pack here of small self-tapping screws, all the end fixings you need for the tracks, press studs to go on the sides of the side.